Principal here at Romeo High School. Just imagine that I've got a really nice voice and this is just like some good music in the background. You know, you can keep your thing. Just wanted to talk about a few things. As you've probably heard, or some of you have been a big part of our process of transforming our high school. Others, is you've been involved in the CTE since for many years and supporting us that way. And we just kind of wanted to share with you some information about kind of what we're doing here, what we're doing to transform our high school, the reason behind it, ultimately how it's benefiting not only our kids, but you all as well, because they need to go work one day, right? And just so we have some basic context. So this is just kind of some information out there. But so essentially what we've done here in Romeo is we've had a fantastic CTE program for many years. But what we're doing now is we realize that every student, whether you're going to college, whether you're going to the military, whether you're going to start a business or go right to the job force, you're going to work in your industry, right? So in years past, certain kids went to CTE and did that and got that training, and others went on the college prep path. Well, now we're saying everybody is getting industry training and experiences, okay? So this is our first year that we're in the academies at Romeo High School, but this kind of shows you, well, essentially what we've done is our 9th graders now are actually in a different building. Right now they're at our old high school on 32 Mile Road, but they're going to be over at Powell Middle School here next year. They're going to be by themselves. There's some definite benefits and research that backs up having 9th graders be by themselves and supporting them. And a big part of that, though, is well, two things. One is we are giving them or helping them learn those, they're called soft skills, those called employability skills, or 20% skills, whatever you want to say, but teaching them how to take notes, how to be successful in high school, how to shake somebody's hand and look them in the eye, just all these things that kids just don't learn in school. We're making sure that we teach them at that 9th grade before they come here. The second piece is we are giving them different opportunities to explore different career paths. That's going to go on. But with the different career paths, and they tie to our academies, which I'll get to in just a second here. But we're giving our kids, like, for example, they did a career day last week, and I know some of you were here helping with that. They're going to the Novi Career Expo this Friday. Our teachers work with them. They look at 100 different jobs, and they kind of narrow it down to see what they have an interest and passion in, and what they might want to do, when they get older. Now, we don't expect a 14-year-old to decide what they want to do for the rest of their lives, but we're giving them an opportunity to choose one of our pathways when they go into 10th grade. So up there you can see on the right that those are our 3 pathways. We've got our Business, Entrepreneurship, and Innovation Academy, which is what you all are here to represent today. Okay? That's our Finance pathway, our Hospitality and Tourism, our IT, and our Marketing and Entrepreneurship classes. We also have Design, Engineering, and Manufacturing. You can see the pathways that go with those, and our Health, Human, and Public Service Academy, and the pathways that go with those. I was using some words wrong. So again, we've got 4 academies, our 9th grade academy, and then the 3 career academies, which are those little tab arrow looking things. Think of it like a university, okay? You've got colleges within the university, and then when you're in a certain college, let's say you're in a business college, you may choose to major in marketing, or I'm going to major in accounting, or finance, or whatever. So that's kind of what we're doing here. So by giving our kids an opportunity to choose an academy and a different pathway, they are now learning through the lens of that, that pathway. Okay? So our kids, part of it is think math and science and social studies and all those classes. They have art, they have band and choir and PE. But every kid, if they're in a pathway, they have specific classes. Each class in their 10th, 11th, 12th grade year, that helps prepare them to be marketable in that job, and to go to college or to go get a job right out of there. As an example, I'll give you one here. So, culinary arts is here tonight. We've got 3 classes. You take culinary arts 1 when you're in 10th grade, 2 when you're in 11th grade, and 3 when you're in 12th grade, to prepare those students that want to do that. And the benefit is, if a kid loves it, and they go through 3 years, and it's like, this is what I'm doing with my life, they've got a leg up on everybody else that is going to go to college or go to that, trade school. But if they go through 3 years and they're like, I hate this, I don't want to do it again, that's okay too. Because we say to their parents, like 80 grand, right? So, and I can say that myself, I have an engineering degree. Never used it, okay? But, I wish I would have had this myself, years ago, because I would have found my passion much sooner, much quicker, and, save a bunch of money, make my wife happy, and all that stuff. So that's just a brief overview of kind of what we're doing here at the high school. Our 9th grade academy is in their 2nd year of implementation, but this really is our first year. And this meeting we're having today, you'll notice is a little bit different than what it's been in the past, because we want to keep what was so great about these advisory meetings, but kind of morph that into what we're doing with our academies. So later today, Mrs. Arns is going to be talking. She's our 9th grade academy principal. Just to give you a little bit of background on what we got going on here at the high school. But before we get there, Mr. Robinson, our superintendent, is going to say a few words here.
Thanks, Bernie. Thank you all for being here. And I know for some of you, you've been on this journey for a couple of years, and some of the information you're going to hear tonight is a little redundant. But one of the things that I'm not sure people know is there's a tremendous amount of structure that goes into the scale up that we're doing for all of the BEI. So, Melissa, can you click the slide? Well, I guess I should speak to the red bullets on the bottom. Go back one, Melissa, for a second. I created a tradition for myself that I never really intended to do, but it just kind of organically happened. So you see on the bottom there, last year, when our 9th graders did their commitment to graduate ceremony, I inherently called them the Trailblazers because they're the first class that's going all the way through. And so as we scale up, I would keep that in context for you, that our current sophomores are actually the first pure cohort of kids that are going to experience the full Academy's model. So then I came to this year, a year later, and with the conversation I had with our staff at the Freshman Academy, Mrs. Arns, our principal, and to be honest, our food service workers about the freshmen, because BEI lunch last year with the Trailblazers was really not a desired time of day, was it, Nicole? So they were Trailblazers, and they had a lot of excitement. And so our food service workers were so excited at the level of maturity and responsibility of our current freshman class. And so I think they're really going to be the game changers, because I think they're going to raise the bar for what this experience is. So I started a tradition, and now when I can't sleep, I start writing down potential names, because Lord knows I can't reuse one for probably a decade. Anyways, all right, I digress. So the structure for what we're doing is not created on our own accord, and I know that many of you know that we have partners in this with us, and we're following a model that really has been in play for 13 years, okay, across the country. So right now there's 41 plus designated communities. We actually, Ford NGL now actually has the first community designated in the UK, so they're actually working internationally as well as across the continental U.S. They visited and they've had people engaged from Hawaii, but no one has been the full hook yet. And I said I'd be happy to go offer any input if and when they get a community in Hawaii that needs some advice. So anyways, if we start on the left, we have the academies at Romeo High School. Do not be mistaken, this is still Romeo High School. You know, we're still the Bulldogs, but we've had a transformation in the learning platform, okay, and that is why you see the academies at Romeo High School. Okay, the tagline you see on the bottom there is the voice of our kids, because members of the marketing team and the students put that voice to it. So we talk about our pride, our future, our way. When you read that, when you hear that, I want you to think of that as if it's coming from a high school kid. Okay, because we want them to have some control, ownership, and we want it to be their way. Our two main partners, of course, are Ford Next Generation Learning, and they have a roadmap that we're working through that really is 6 or 7 years in length. Okay, we're in phase 4, year 2 of that roadmap. The last phase is phase 5. Okay, so as we scale up and ramp up our implementation, we have a roadmap and some things that we have to do in response to Ford Next Generation Learning as a designated community. One of those is coming up in a couple weeks, and many of you may have received an invitation to our annual retreat, because part of the roadmap with Ford NGL is you must have a mid-year meeting and an annual retreat. And so our annual retreat this year is November 20th, right here at the high school in the afternoon. So I'm losing my deal here. Okay, there we go, good. So we have Ford Next Generation. The other folks that are a convening organization, which is important and you have to have, is Macomb County. The county really as a whole, but the Planning and Economic Development Division, they're doing our job forecasting. They're helping us onboard business partners. They do a lot for us. They've really been a valuable partner. And as I've interacted with superintendents in other communities across the country, I feel really, really fortunate to have the convening organization that we do, because it just doesn't exist the way it does for us here in other parts of the country. So we have Macomb County Planning and Economic Development, and then finally we get to this level of really looking at 4 different other structures that we have that this group is a part of. So we have our Academy Champions, and that's a high-level group of executive leaders. In larger districts in the country, they call these CEO champions. For me, that was a little stuffy, and I think we're a little smaller community, and I think we can get a little closer to the work. So we have a variety of leaders. That right now is currently at 10 leaders that we're trying to represent the different pathways. But we also have some government or county level officials, and that group is an advocacy group for us. We talk about assets. They can help us with asset allocation and resources, and then they also help us with accountability. So they'll be here at the annual retreat, and when we say we have metrics that we want to meet for our students, we would report out to them annually about how we're doing. Next is our operating board, and a few of the faces I see in here have been a part of that. And Jennifer McFarland, our assistant superintendent, leads the operating board, so raise your hand, Jennifer, and wave. And the operating board really has members of our implementation team. So as we wrote the plan for Fort NGL to designate us, they were tactic teams, and now because we're in implementation, they've transitioned to implementing the plan that we wrote. Of course, we have our advisory boards, and you're one of those. And now that we've scaled up to all means all, these boards are bigger, okay? And we're trying to do collective meetings so we can share information with everybody at one time, but then also allow you to have your specific meetings where you're going to take care of the business that's mindful to your industry and your pathway. And Natalie will be the first one to tell you we have requirements from the Michigan Department of Education to get CT funding and things like that. One of the things that I say is the MDE is not caught up to the scale of the work that we're doing. You know, so sometimes the requirements don't match exactly what we want to do, but we'll be mindful and make sure that we get done what we need to get done. And I'm hopeful that we get a conversation with them to say, when all means all, we're doing it full scale, we need to be mindful of how we can create efficiencies, because we don't want to overmeet you folks. So we have our advisory boards, and then finally we just have our business partners. And some of you have been doing this work, like I said, for several years. Some of you are brand new to it. We will never underestimate the value of our business partners, even when they're not on one of these other organizations. Because we need your guidance. We need your industry expertise. Because our teachers are experts at teaching, and they have content specifications, but if they're a content area teacher, they don't know your industry. You know, so we need your help and to have that partnership so they can learn more and help gear our kids up to hopefully, you know, get some less help wanted signs out there in the world. Okay, because one of the things that we've been discussing is, yes, we see help wanted all the time, but we believe as we scale up, we have the help that you wanted, and we have the future workforce for your industry. In some cases, for some of you, it might be before they go to college, while they're in college, instead of college, or after the right training in college. There's a variety of ways. So I think we're going to let Melissa talk a little bit about some of the specific work that we're doing about the 9th grade academy.
Good evening. My name is Melissa Arnstein. I have the pleasure of being the 9th grade academy principal. And yes, what I get questioned a lot is, do you really like that middle level? Yeah, I really do. I really like 9th graders. They're fun to work with. Yes, they're young, but they're a lot of fun. I do need to introduce one of my SLCs is here tonight. So I also have 3 teacher leaders that are on our team. Christy DeVoe, do you want to stand up? She is our rep here tonight. Thank you for being here, Christy. Our other 2 reps will come on the other 2 nights. My goal tonight is, how does the 9th grade academy fit into the career model? So I want to talk to you 2 minutes and kind of give you an overview of what that looks like. We have 4 main goals in my mind for the 9th grade academy. 1 is to maintain the rigorous academics that Romeo stands for. That's very important to us. 2 is to create a smaller learning environment. The school is really large, and kids get lost in the shuffle. So this is just an example of our second goal. What we do is we break down that 430 kids and put them on teams. So it's kind of like a work environment. They work together on a team with 4 to 5 core teachers that are responsible for them and everything that happens in their life at the 9th grade academy. So we have our 3 teams here, and that's Quest, Expedition, and Discovery. Mr. Bo sits on the Quest team. So we took these pictures on the day that our students, this was today, on the day that our students committed to graduate. We actually had a ceremony where they walked across stage, signed that banner that they commit to graduate from Romeo High School in 4 years, and that banner will be raised at their graduation. So it was pretty cool. Our second goal, or our third goal, is to teach those employability skills that you value so much in the workplace. Fourth goal is just what we're here for, is career exploration. So how do we do that? What has happened so far in the 9th grade academy? So far, this year we've implemented something new. It's called Seminar Class. It's a class designed for just what I talked about, is exploring careers, talking about employability skills. For instance, I saw a lesson probably a month ago, it was the coolest thing. Our 9th graders cannot look people in the eye and give them a firm handshake, because what are they doing 24 hours a day? So we actually have a lesson where the teachers taught them how to shake, how to give a firm handshake, how to look them in the eye, how to have an adult conversation, and they practice that. Those things are happening in seminar class. Today, Ms. DeVoe explained to me that we have the portrait of a graduate hanging up in all the classrooms. Students actually looked at that portrait today and sat and listed things that they've done so far in the Career Academy that models what we represent at Romeo High School. So those are some activities that happen daily. We also have a platform called Zello. This is where every freshman has gone in. It's a new college and career tool. It's also going to be used as their digital portfolio for later on in the 4 years where they can put their resume and things that they need so when they leave us, they're prepared. But so far, kids have taken personality tests on there. They've taken career matches, learning styles. Those are ways for them to self-explore. What are my interests? What am I passionate about? Those are some things we've done so far. Every 9th grader has gone to Macomb Community College already. Now, it's not to say you have to go to Macomb, but it's for them to see themselves in a college environment, because that is an option when they leave here. Whether they go right to the workforce or they go to college. But many freshmen, you will be shocked, have no idea or have never set foot on a college campus. So that was important, and Romeo Community Schools committed to that. So they send every 9th grader to Macomb, and then we visit Oakland in the spring. We've also introduced something that we started last year, and it's our very own career cards. Mr. Robinson, can I ask you? There are some over there if you want to just show them at the tables. I brought a bunch, but I'm going to show you. So every student gets a set of 80 career cards. These career cards were strategically aligned with the county job projections in this county. So every student gets 80 cards. Throughout the process in the fall, they are sorting these cards. So every so often, after we've done some exploration, they go back to those cards, and they go, yep, I'm not going to be this, and they put it aside. That does not interest me right now. No, you know what, I want to bring that card back in, because I really liked what I saw at Career Day. And I really talked to this business professional, and I loved what they said to me, so I'm going to bring that card back in. Because remember, the main goal, or one of the goals, is to get them ready to make a choice on what career pathway they would like to explore at Romeo High School. So we have strategically devised some lesson plans throughout the fall semester and into the winter to help them do that. But these cards correspond with the academies at Romeo's pathways. So yellow is IT, what you have tonight. So if they start sorting and they notice that they have all the yellow cards, well, that tells them that they should be really interested in this pathway. What they do with those cards is they cut them, and they're kind of like trading cards. So they have a pack of 80 in their hands in seminar on every day. They also, like I said, are color-coded. And again, we integrate these throughout the 9th grade experience. So they're really cool. You can look to see if I was going into IT, what kind of degree would I need? what might be my salary, and if I was to take student loans out, what it might cost to get that degree. So these are a really great tool that the kids are using throughout the semester. Next, after that, we did go to Career Day already, so that is something that has been on the docket this year. It was a huge success. So if you were there, I thank you. Our kids loved it. They had a great experience. They were required to go down and talk to 5 business professionals and ask a question and record your response if you were there. That way we knew that they were communicating. They were supposed to shake your hand. They were supposed to introduce themselves. So we worked hard on that. And then when they came back, I think, Ms. Duvall, they just did this, right? So now that we've had a few experiences, they've taken those 80 cards and they've got them down to 40. So that's kind of where we're at in the process. So okay, now that you've done the personality test, you've looked at your learning styles, you've visited Career Day, we've had lessons in seminar, we've gone over different things. Where are you at? What are your interests? And so they have them narrowed down to 40. This Friday, I think Mr. Oswald talked about this. We are going to Career Quest, which we're taking all 430 kids to Nearby. It's a phenomenal experience. It's hands-on. It's not just going up and having conversations. It's literally getting in there. There's bricklayers and they're laying bricks with the kids. It's pretty awesome. So they will come back and they might sort those cards again. And then I think on December 2nd, we're actually going to bring every 9th grader up here and they're going to visit the academies. So those are some things that we have done so far. We have many more that we're going to do, but I just wanted to give you an overview on where we're at. And the last thing I wanted to share was there is Mr. Robinson's Game Changers. We decided to take a group photo and that's one of my favorites, so I thought we would put that up to share with you. But it's been a great year so far. I'm going to stick around for the rest of the night. If you have any questions, I'll be here to answer them. And I think Ms. Davis is coming back up. Thanks.
All right, so thanks, Melissa. You can see how exciting it is to see the foundation with our 9th graders, and it definitely leads right into the work in our pathways. So with that, we are going to go into our program advisory committee meetings. Now, the one thing that is different, you'll notice on the group agenda, is that we'll all be coming back here because we want everyone to know what others are doing within their particular programs and pathways, okay? So our CTE programs, Advisement Program Advisory Groups, align with the pathways within the academies. So for tonight, we have combined business, marketing, and accounting because we know that those are some of the same people, and it's also some of the same teachers. So culinary will be going with Chef Monica to the culinary kitchen and classroom, which is C104, and it is a little bit tricky to get back there, so we'll have you follow her. Pardon me? But they're going to go see your kitchen, so you might want to do that first, right? So Chef Monica, and then IT, John Anderson is going to take you folks up to see his new lab that is in the new part of the building. And then marketing, business, and accounting, as I said, will be combined, and they will be in Julia Langland's classroom, but also going in through the school store. Now, at the end of the evening, if you have not been here for any of our tours or for the grand opening, I promise you when we come back together, we will make sure that you have an opportunity to look at the new building, okay? We promise you that. But when you come back, program advisory members, we want at least one person to share out a celebration and a priority that you learned about in the advisory group, okay? Because we want everyone to know the exciting things going on, but we also need to have the entire group understand priorities. And I'll give you just an example. If we needed a larger piece of equipment, or Ms. Langman needed a piece of equipment for the school store, I think Dan Wesner is already helping her out with some of that, but there might be somebody else in the room that knows of something that would be beneficial for some of the other programs. We want everyone to know what the other programs are doing, and again, we want all of you to have a better understanding of the exciting things going on at Romeo High School, including the 9th grade academy and all of our other work here, because Mrs. Arntz has poured a lot of work into that as well as the team, and we really notice the difference in the kids coming up. So Appreciate you being here again. We're going to come back, but right now, if you would dismiss to your pathway meetings, and then we will report back here to share in about a half hour, okay?